It's like the news, but for nerds. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. Nerd Vengers, it is Josh, and this is your nerdy news rundown for Friday, June 11th, 2021. We've got some really fun updates about the Book of Boba show. Tamara Morrison making some very interesting comments, giving us a little bit of insight to what will happen in the show. We're very excited about that. There's also some very crazy what if news, and I just want to say, I just get the feeling more and more, guys, that the what if show is going to be a way bigger deal than we first thought as Marvel fans, so I definitely want to get into that. But first, let's talk about the fact that Loki apparently is the biggest day one premiere hit that Disney Plus Marvel has ever had. This is coming from Samba TV. Here are the statistics right here. The number of U.S. households who watched each Marvel series premiere on Disney Plus on the first day of its release. Loki comes in at 890,000, and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier had 759,000, and WandaVision had 655,000. Now, like all data sourcing organizations, this isn't 100% accurate. It's not a total picture for the whole actual views of who was watching Disney Plus, but it's a pretty good indication, and they do get as accurate as they can. And so the ratios by which these numbers are beating are likely real, even if the numbers themselves are a little bit off. Regardless, there was some question about whether or not Loki would be a smash success or do as many views as those other shows. I know myself, I personally questioned this just a little bit because of the Wednesday release. I was like, wow, this is weird. Wednesday in the middle of the summer. But Tom Hiddleston, the Avengers sort of draw, positive word of mouth, and just general hype seems to be kicking in full gear for Loki. It broke records on its opening night. I expect the show to do incredible moving forward. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm just happy to be super pumped about the show as well as a Marvel fan. So Loki, absolutely killing it for Marvel Studios. Let us know what you think about that in the comments section below. And now let's get into this what if story. This is coming from the Illuminati. And I just want to say the Illuminati seems to be really on track with some crazy updates about what if. And I'm telling you, I really think what if is going to be a much bigger deal for the MCU than we thought before. You guys may have heard me speculate that I think some of these characters from what if could even show up in live action later on down the line in the MCU. A lot of cool stuff when it comes to what if, but we just got a new update from the Illuminati about Gamora. It says right here, new what if story details for Gamora's lethal episode of the Marvel animated series. This is an exclusive. The Illuminati has new details on Gamora's what if episode coming to Disney Plus. It says down here in the article, our sources have shared how Zoe Saldana's Gamora will take a new turn in Marvel Studios' what if, and a darker one at that, with an unexpected enemy in her sights. She will don a similar outfit to the one she wore in both Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers Endgame, complete with her warrior skills and her swords. However, after being trained by her father Thanos, her skills will be put to the test against a new and unusual target in the form of Tony Stark. It's already been established that Gamora is one of the most feared warriors throughout the galaxy, which will obviously stay the case with this new version of the character. However, the show seems to not only be bringing her into play as more of a villain, but also putting her up against the man who kicked the MCU off in Iron Man. The two characters never interacted with each other in the live-action MCU, and both met their respective dooms in Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, although Gamora's 2014 variant returned to the main timeline. This leak means one of two things will have to happen. Either Gamora comes to Earth to hunt Tony, or Tony finds his way into space with his Iron Man tech and encounters Gamora in the stars. Why Gamora is after Tony is still a mystery, as is why they end up doing battle with each other, but this will be an exciting new take for two huge names in the MCU. Okay, again, just freaking awesome, man. The whole idea of what if is very interesting, but it's been really fun following these different reports, a lot of them, again, coming from the Illuminati specifically, about the plot details for these characters. Party Thor seems really, really fun. You've got this concept of the Guardians of the Multiverse. What does all of this exactly mean? The show just seems like it's going to be able to have a lot of fun in seemingly unrestricted ways. The fact that it's going to seemingly be not connected to the MCU, at least not initially connected to the MCU's sacred timeline, gives it the ability to do all sorts of crazy and random things. I also wanted to bring up this whole leak, or I guess Easter egg in Loki episode 1, where a lot of people think you see Peggy Carter being brought to the TVA. I am really beginning to wonder if that Peggy Carter that you see in Loki episode 1 could be the variant Peggy Carter that becomes Captain Carter in the What If series. And then this report itself, having Gamora go after Tony Stark, that is absolutely awesome as an idea. I love Gamora, but I did love the 2014 variant of Gamora a little bit more. The more ruthless warrior Gamora feels more akin to the one that I read in Marvel Comics for years and years and years. And having her be the one chasing after Tony Stark, that's absolutely fantastic. We did get details about Tony Stark building his armor on Sakaar. Is Gamora going to find him on Sakaar and fight him there? Is he on the run from her at that point? Or is this when they first interact? So many different questions about what is happening here, but the idea of the What If Tony Stark facing down with the What If Gamora, it just brings a smile to my nerdy face. So let us know what you think about that update for the What If show in the comments section below. And now let's finish off with some Boba Fett news. You know, it's a great day when I get to talk about the Book of Boba. Now, this all came from a Rotten Tomatoes interview with Tamara Morrison. He was being asked about his new sci-fi movie called Occupation Rainfall, but they definitely slipped in some really cool Book of Boba questions. Tamara Morrison says in the interview, well, we can't say too much, but we're going to see his past and where he's been since the Empire Strikes Back. Somebody pointed out that he's been kind of stuck in this one place, and now's the time to actually go back in time and check out his journey and find out more about him. He also mentions in the article that Robert Rodriguez himself directed a couple episodes. They had incredible directors on the show, and we do know, thanks to Ming-Na Wen's social media post, that the show has officially wrapped. There likely could be some punch-ups, maybe a few little reshoots here and there, but it's likely on track to make that fall sort of Christmas time release for the end of this year. Now, as far as takeaways from the article, him talking about the past, filling in information from where he's been since the Empire Strikes Back, you could be looking at a show that really splits its time with little flashbacks or, scenes that explain things, and cut that time and split it with the present time, what he is doing in the present in Jabba's palace. Or perhaps it's just that the plot itself will focus around events that happened during the Empire Strikes Back post-time period with Boba, right? Meaning that we will get these answers. Fans have been questioning, why was he freaking on Tatooine for that long? Was he on Tatooine for that long? Was he hiding from somebody? What did he think about what was going on in the galaxy and what was going on in the galaxy for the bounty hunters and the guild? I think we're getting a lot of those questions, and it really seems like the creative forces over at Star Wars are leaning heavily into the bounty hunter side of things. This new Bounty Hunter Works comic seems to be tying interesting things together. We could see all sorts of little interactions and connective tissues that tie to stories in the comics, other iconic heroes or villains, and build up a pretty impressive roster of nerdy Star Wars characters. By the end of Book of Boba, you could be seeing sort of a coalition of different bounty hunters, an army of bounty hunters, if you will. And that would be very, very cool if we're going to see that be a large force that has something to do with a big looming conflict that we think all of the Filoniverse with the different shows that they're doing will eventually culminate in. They're going ham on Boba, man. Boba's a big part of this plan, and so the little tidbits here and there, even the confirmation of Bosk coming into the show and learning the past and the present, it's just the more we hear about this, the more juiced up I personally get for Book of Boba. I think it will usher in even more crazy stuff for the Mandoverse, as we've also heard recently that it should be treated as Mandalorian 2.5, as a lot of the characters from the Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2 will appear in the show as well. Seems like an awesome next step for the Filoniverse and for Star Wars. Let us know what you think about it in the comments section below. And make sure you are checking out the live streaming channel. By the way, we are doing watch parties for Loki every Tuesday night / Wednesday morning at 2:30 a.m. is when we start those live streams. Make sure you go check that out over on the live streaming channel. And as I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video.